YouTube was good. It's your boy, Paul Harris, aka the Crazy Uncle. Hey, guess what? This your first time tuning in. Go ahead, hit the doggone subscribe button. Hit notification bell every time I post up new content. So TD Jakes. Any other time I would say TD Snakes. Then came out and said the family is lost because we are raising women to be men. And yes, I am drinking, doing crazy uncle shit, talking shit. Well, let's just say that I don't talk shit. I talk straight fact. So, but in another case, right? I saw this a couple of days ago, and I was just like, okay. But then again, I thought about it, and I'm saying, you know what? The family was lost before TD Jakes even made this doggone statement. The family was lost before whoever the fuck we is, right, started acting like raising women as men. But then again, I look at all this stuff, and then like I said, if you actually really pay attention to a lot of my shows, right, a lot of that shit connects, right? Because in a sense, you probably can go by. I mean, you can look at this. You can look at the Georgia Guidestones, and this can actually really be applied to this, or even better, talking about a pole shift, right? And then for the most part, this goes back to 1973, January 22nd, 1973. And I told y'all in the previous shows what happened on January 22nd, 1973. If you don't, if you don't know, goddamn it, go Google what happened on January 22nd, 1973, as far as like mental disorders. What was taken off the books, what was once classified as a mental disorder, and on that particular day, they actually really took that shit off the books. Go back and look at it, right? So, like I was saying, the family was lost before this shit even transpired. Because it's just for the simple fact, right? I wouldn't necessarily say that whoever the fuck we is, right? I wouldn't sit up here and say that we're raising women to be men. Because again, you can look at this, you can look at this water, you can look at this on so many levels till it's ridiculous. You can look at the simple fact, okay, hey, guess what? You picked, and when I say you, I'm talking about women, right? You picked, you made a bad selection of a man. He talked you, he talked that bullshit to you. You got wet, you dropped your drawers, he planted the seed. Hey, guess what? I'ma holler at you later. And 9 times 10, don't never come back into the child's life. So now here's the deal. You walking around, you pregnant, right? And then one or two things are gonna happen. Again, a lot of stuff is gonna happen because guess what? Back then, abortion was legal. So if you didn't want the child, guess what the fuck you finna go do? Right? So so again, this goes back to the Georgia Guidestone. Maintain population under 500 million. Abortion was one of those avenues, one of those routes that you could go. not really knowing what the fuck that you was actually really doing. And then you also got to look at the whole women's liberation thing. When that started, and who actually really started it? They got their Rockefellers. They started that shit. Because you got to think about it. Before that shit happened, right? I mean, great the fact, yes, women were working, right? But the violence was so uneven till it was motherfucking ridiculous. And then when the whole women's liberation movement came about, and it'd be like, well, hey, guess what? I can come out here and work too. But again, the Rockefellers and the other bloodlines was looking at the simple like, hey, guess what? We got a whole new group out here that we need to put them to work so we can tax their ass too. So for the most part, and I know what a lot of motherfuckers gonna say, oh, the woman's place is in a home. Well, hey, guess what? You know, I'm one of the ones. Hey, look, if you feel like you can go out and get it, then goddamn it, then hey, by all means, go get yours. But at the same time, right? You fresh out of high school, you going into college, you gonna get your job again. I said this again in previous shows, right? A lot of y'all want to sit up here and you already got your goddamn life planned out. You're going to go to school, you're going to graduate high school, get that little bullshit piece of paper, then go to college, go get you another bullshit piece of paper, right? And then, depending on what type of parents you got, they going to either pay for your schooling, or you do financial aid, or you get a student loan. So, for the most part, so you got all this shit going. You got student loans out the ass, and then you expecting to be married by the time you're 25 and want kids. But you done forgot about your goddamn student loans, though. So the whole thing is this, people. And I said this in my show, in one of my shows. And great fact, I didn't get a whole lot of views behind it. But the thing about it is this. I already know that ain't nobody actually really gonna do it. But the thing about it is this. If you really trying to have kids, do that shit when you are well established. You got that money, right? And then put like this. And if you can retire and live comfortably, right? Or you can retire, live off of your pension, and then if you want to go out there and get a little bullshit job, you can do that. But at the same time, you can also have, if you want a kid or whatever, then hey, by all means. Whether you do it yourself or you go out and you adopt. That way, you ain't got to worry about paying the goddamn babysitter, right? Because you done made it. You done went to work. You done built your little nest egg up. You got your little piece of money, right? And so you can sit at home, tend to the baby, you and your husband both. But just like I said, ain't nobody really trying to listen to what the fuck the crazy uncle got to say. And you know, for the most part, hey, guess what? I get it. I got it. Right? But the thing about it though is this. Go back and go hit the rewind. Go back and just listen to what the fuck I just told y'all. The whole women's liberation thing. The motherfuckers that y'all put in office. The motherfuckers that y'all put in office. Put a plan in place the family, right? Because they probably already looked at it. They would say, well, hey, look, the daddy ain't finna be around. So all this responsibility is gonna fall on the woman, on the mama. So just like I said, that shit, so whatever the fuck, and that's why I said down in the description, right? Day late, dollar short, on schedule, right? TD Jakes, you should have been saying this shit 50 years ago, if not earlier. But depending on how old the fuck you are, then okay, hey, guess what? I got it. Right? But don't sit up here now and talk about what the fuck we doing. And again, I'm still trying to figure out who the fuck is we. Right? Talk about the family is lost. Motherfucker, the family been lost. So again, what the fuck you talking about, TD Jakes? Day late, dollar short, but then depending on, but looking at your stature, your status, your job title, you ahead of the game as far as like money goes. So again, right? Now, just like I said, the shift is most definitely there. Because just like I said, 1973, January 22nd, changed a lot of shit. And then when you get former presidents like Slick Willie, right? Slick Willie told you, hey, look, I ain't gonna ask you. So, but I ain't gonna ask you, but don't motherfucking tell me, right? Then you get Barack saying, hey, guess what? Me and Michael want you to feel comfortable in your skin. And so here come Caitlyn Jenner or Bruce Jenner, which that most definitely is like just made it free for everybody to just come out and say, ooh, I most definitely can do it, right? And then last but not least, here comes TD Jakes. What your little bullshit saying? So like I said, day late, dollar short, but if you actually stop and think about it for a minute, you don't goddamn schedule. Because like I said, the family been lost. The family was lost years ago, decades ago. But it's funny how he gonna be like, all right, well, because, and again, I'm like, who the fuck is we? Right? Who the fuck is we? So again, but the thing about it, though, if you actually stop and think about it for a minute, I'm looking at this, and for the most part, I could be like, well, you know what? It's 50-50 almost. 50, well, you know what? Let's say 55-45. 45% of the women out there are actually like really going out there and they're getting it. And then in that process, they looking at the simple fact, okay, well, since I got it, what the fuck I need a man for? right? But then again, women's liberation, whatever you can do, I can do better. Blame the Rockefellers on that shit, okay? And then the 55% are these hoochie mamas out there with the fake hair, the fake eyelashes, the fake titty, the fake ass, right? Can't talk worth a damn, right? But then the man, he don't know no fucking better, right? And then he got a pocket full of money, so he giving her money and ain't got not damn parts of pussy. Probably ain't seen it. Probably don't even know what the fucking smell like or look like, right? But again, you know, he out there, he get money or whatever, pass it to her, and then like I say, she ain't gave up shit. But hey, it is what it is. So it's almost like the shit is flipped. Just like you look at it from that's flipped. And then when you look at it from a bigger picture, guess what? That's been flipped. So again, I'm still trying to figure out who the fuck is we, right? And yes, the shit started way before TD Jakes even began to fix his fucking mouth. Now, a lot of y'all might sit up here and say, well, duh. I'm like, okay, yeah, you're right, but I'm going to say it any goddamn way. Because it's just, I mean, come on now. And you know, and the only reason why this shit is picking up as well as much as it's picking up, because he a preacher. But then at the same time, he old bullshit preacher. Because anytime when somebody want to sit up there and preach what he feel is the goddamn gospel, but then he gonna charge you for it, yeah, I really have no motherfucking respect for you. Because guess what? Because when Joshua was here, he didn't charge nobody not one red cent. Even though there wasn't no money around then, but even if it was, guess what? He wasn't going to charge nobody nothing. So where do you get off trying to come out? Oh, pay your tithes. Oh, yeah, okay. Okay. Again, just like I said, all of that stuff, that paying of the tithes, that was back in the first 5 books of the Bible. That was the law, right? But then, years later, what did the Messiah do? He came in, put it into order when they nailed him to the cross, right? They nailed his hands to the cross. So guess what the hell that canceled out? That canceled out hand worshiping. Whether you're doing this or whether you're doing this. Okay? When they nailed his feet, that took out foot washing. Any so-called carnal ordinances, he took all that out when he got nailed on the cross. So again, TD Jakes, or I call you TD Snakes now, right? Where you get off charging people? You and Goldstein and all them several dollars. Where you bastards get off charging motherfuckers? But as much as I hate this, well, you know what? Well, you know what? As much as I hate to say it, if I had a whole bunch of dumb motherfuckers following me, yeah, I'd charge your goddamn ass too. But I know better. I'm not gonna doggone put like this, if I had the gift to lead you to doggone salvation, right? Spiritual salvation, right? Yeah, I can have the building, or I can just talk to your ass outside, right? In either case, guess what? Old Curtis Harris or old Apollos Harris ain't gonna charge you not 1 red cent. Because it's just for the simple fact, when it was, as the old folks used to say, when it was told to me, the only thing that I had to motherfucking pay was goddamn attention. That's the cheapest price that anybody can pay. So in either case, the family was lost a long time ago before this bastard even said anything. And I'm pretty sure he know that, but again, where the hell was you at 30 years ago? Or 40 years ago? Or 50 years ago? Because you and the rest of them, y'all wasn't saying it then. So, hey, it is what it is, people. So, with that being said, guess what? Tell your mama, tell your daddy, tell Big Dad, tell Big Bertha, your uncle, your auntie, your grandma, your papa, motherfucker next door across the street around called Apollos Harris, a.k.a. Crazy Off. Till next time.